20. February 2023. Across those summer months, he began to notice the presence of a shadow. It arrived without ceremony and seemingly demanded no direct attention, lurking within the narrow confines of his peripheral vision, or hanging above the blind spot behind his head. The nameless thing gave no impetus for its arrival, and there remained a thought in his head that this dissonant beast had always been there. He'd only now just given it credence. If he hadn't been preoccupied with a turn in Lydia's moods, he might have been able to confront the shadow, but, as it were, he chose a route of further suppression, ignoring the deep-seated problem it might represent. Lydia had not been the same since their failed attempt to visit her family. A certain negativity pervaded her effervescing persona and left Locrian with an urge to make things better for her. It was true that she made efforts to connect with him on the matter, state that it wasn't his fault, that she'd come around eventually. Yet the only certainty that arose from the ordeal was that a second attempt was not on the cards. Locrian, frightened to test the subject, turned further within himself and ignored the calls and messages he would receive from Leah and his father. Were he to acknowledge that those messages were diminishing in number, he could have seen the true depths of the depression he waded in, especially from the contact of his father, whose tone and affliction had become hurried and incomprehensible, as though his son were no longer worth the effort. Or worse still, that he would give up trying after Locrian repeatedly declined incoming phone calls. His sister, on the other hand, seemed busy with her own lot, and the Valley of Lochi's self-pity saw it fit to leave her be and not add his own troubles to Leah's. "You never told me you had a niece," Lydia had said. "I met her once when she was born. She'd be 4 or 5 now." "You should probably know how old she is, Locke." "All the more reason why I shouldn't be a parent myself." "Do you see children in our future?" Her candour surprised him. "We both know that's not possible," he said after a moment's thought. "My head isn't right. It would be selfish of me to bring another human into the world." Lydia appeared saddened yet resigned, and probably began to bury herself in her art, filling several sketchbooks with the most intricate pencil drawings, many of which portrayed confronting subject matter that Locrian honestly didn't enjoy looking at. "I guess there's a darkness inside," she said, "that needs an outlet. I don't expect you or anyone to look at these, really. You wouldn't go through someone else's diary, would you?" "No, I suppose not. But you should tell me if there's something troubling you. I might even be able to help." They both laughed sardonically. For Locrian, he dove headlong into composing music, writing pieces that might complement the sharp-edged misery of Lydia's artworks. And yet he wouldn't play the music he wrote, rather seeing it in its corporeal form of ink on staff lines. To strike a key or pluck a string might send its mystique careening off into the ether, like a ripple from a stone dropped in water, further away from what it was meant to mean with each vibration that pushed it along a sonic tide. "Well, that makes sense," said Lydia, "that I can't hear your songs and you can't see my drawings." "I can't swim your waters," he mused, "and you can't walk my lands." "Tim Buckley." "Yep." "It's moments like these that remind me why I'm here with you. You understand me, even the weird parts." Her smile was like a light. Still the shadow remained cast, and when Locrian tried to fix his gaze upon it, the image would shift in a sort of quantum convulsion, unobservable and just barely outside his range of vision. Were he to catch sight of its face, he thought he saw his own grinning back at him with a malicious rictus, and he'd shake his head and squeeze his eyes shut and inwardly groan for the beast to just go away. He obsessed over his creations, Pygmalion, each composition carrying the full weight of his attention until it was given a final florid adornment and cast aside for the next project. A dam wall of artistry had burst, and he could do little but tap the vein until it expired. God, this is pages of music, Lydia said. I don't think any of it is any good. I can't comprehend it unless it's played. Lots of musicians don't go to these lengths to scribe everything like this. It's probably senseless. Hey, it's yours. Like my drawings. Perhaps they're just for you to hear in your head. Jesus, Lyd. There's too much going on in my head already. I can't seem to quell it. You're an artist, my love. She wrapped her arms around his chest. The worst thing you've ever created was the last thing you made. The greatest work of your life is what you're currently working on. He regrouped his love for her into a withering burst of devotion, determined to remind her of the intricate value she gave to his life. Weeks could go by without Lydia showing any sign of distress or misery, yet he'd pursue meticulous lengths to ensure her happiness, pour his energy into servitude, give her the divinity of the queen he saw her as. She would smile and look away, embarrassed at the attention, not for herself, but rather that Locrian could behave in such a ludicrous manner just to impress her. Sometimes I wonder if my entire life is just a dream. Oh, shut up, you sap, she laughed. It's true, he continued, but then I think, no, my mind can't conjure a love like yours. Ass! She threw a couch cushion at him. That she loved him filled Locrian with confidence, had him consider that he could navigate the shoals of his mind's low tide and not run aground. Do you think I should spell it as Lock instead, like with an E at the end? Spell it however you like, it doesn't make a difference. Well, maybe I'll just change my name entirely. Something really dumb, so you'll have to humiliate yourself every time you introduce me to someone. Whatever, Mr. Flat 5. Wow, that's an old one. Did you think I'd forgotten? Forgotten. The word carried weight. Could anything be forgotten? Better to ask if anything was ever truly gone. His mind would drift. Was there ever a drought? All the water that ever existed was somewhere on the planet, maybe as ocean, maybe vapour, but never gone. He'd consider the dust that moulded itself into the shape of the woman he loved, that one day it would fall apart and return to the earth. Still her, but just somewhere else. Her as ash, scattered to the winds. He shivered and held her tighter while they slept. But she was still awake. What's your earliest memory? I don't know. Sure you do. I really don't think it matters. Are you sure about that? Memories of childhood are just so hazy. Who can trust them? What creates that haze? Is it a distance of time, or rather our inability to form proper thoughts at such a young age? Can it be both? Or neither? I really don't want to talk about it. Ask me something else. Time or ability, or both. Locrian peeled back the curtain of his grandmother's passing. How dementia had ravaged her once strong mind. Still there, but this time gone. Truly gone. Don't cry, Locke. Grandmothers are a child's gift. You're not meant to keep it for too long. It just hurts. Losing anyone hurts. You were an adult when she died. Not everyone gets that. Yeah, but I was 3 when... Shh. Don't cry. It's late. Let yourself drift off to sleep. When his grandmother died, Lockie's father had vehemently scorned the ailments of a failing mind. God, son, he said behind his tears, I hope I never have to suffer like that. It was so hard to see her lose her mind. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Locrian had held his father's shoulder, thinking about the sweet equilibrium of years between youth and old age, when the brain functioned the way it was meant to, and how it was wedged between a darkness born of nothing, ex nihilo, and the gloom-soaked umbra of death that bookended life.